Yet another sign of just how scared they truly are. Donald Trump has been notified that his indictment by Joe Biden's DOJ is imminent and will occur next week, according to sources. Jack Smith, the Third Reich's special counsel assigned to investigate the former president by current Gestapo head, or AG, Merrick Garland, will reportedly be charging the former president with, quote, gathering, transmitting, or losing absolutely declassified national defense information. Now this from the Post-Millennial. Quote, a federal indictment brought by special counsel Jack Smith could be handed by a federal grand jury to Trump as early as next week. Smith's prosecutorial team informed Trump's team in recent days that the charges he faces includes a violation of 18 U.S. Code, Chapter 37, Section 793, which prohibits the gathering, transmitting, or losing of national defense information. Other charges reportedly being considered are alleged false statements and obstruction of justice, unquote. Now, prior to Trump's indictment in Manhattan by Soros goon Alvin Bragg, variously reported timelines turned out to be wrong, so take early next week with some caution. Because the case is still technically with I'm sure, far-left set-up grand jury, things could possibly change and take a little bit longer. Regardless of the exact day the indictment actually happens, the described charges track with past reports that the DOJ is focused on a very convenient and way too timely taped conversation between Trump and representatives of Mark Meadows. In it, the recording, Trump allegedly describes a government document dealing with an invasion of Iran and indicated that he knew it was still classified. So let's take a real quick break from the article and do a little digesting, gather ourselves, right? Get our bearings, because this is a doozy, even for the current DC establishment. We have a corrupt DOJ that's been on Donald Trump's ass since Joe Biden touched the Bible, right? They found classified documents at his house, supposedly, but the argument was always that he can declassify whatever the hell he wants. That's been his argument. That's been every historian's argument. Every constitutional's argument. That's the basic argument, right? So the DOJ or FBI or whoever hell, they're all the same, right? They took their shot and they missed because it's just a standards issue. You can't hold Donald Trump to this standard and Barack Hussein Obama to another. Barack had thousands of documents that were supposedly unclassified that he was arguing with the historical people over there in DC about for years. That's common knowledge. So you have the standards issue, obviously, but then you also have the issue of, Mike Pence over there waving and saying, hey guys, I got some over here too. Come get mine. Come get mine. They're in the basement. I forgot to take them back to DC before I clean my office out. And obviously they're not going to charge that old deep state rhino with anything, right? But then you have the really big issue, which is the current president of the United States has decades-old classified documents all over the goddamn place. And these are documents he has absolutely no right to be holding in any way, shape, or form. But hey, that's perfectly okay because Orange Man bad and mean tweets and all that. But back to the tape and how idiotic this whole thing probably is, like 99.999% sure this whole scheme is. The only way that you could get Donald on the hook is if you had audio or audio and visual of him admitting to having classified documents, right? And boom, there it is. They found audio somehow of Donald Trump admitting to having classified documents on his person or property. It's amazing. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a polite way, nice way, is it's important to note that just because the DOJ claims something doesn't make it true. It also doesn't mean it will hold up in a court of law. The broader timeline of all this desperate third world banana republic bullshit should infuriate Republicans. The DOJ is about to do what many feared and predicted, including myself, which is to wait around to indict Trump so that the trial takes place after he's already gained the Republican nomination. Given that a conviction would then be probable, especially if the case is tried in an unfriendly jurisdiction, this could turn out to be the biggest example of election interference in American history. It's basically unconscionable, no matter what one thinks of the general merits of the case. Trump's team is likely to rely heavily on a past U.S. District Court case from over a decade ago, which involved former President Bill Cigar Collector Clinton. This case concluded that a president has the authority to determine which documents from their presidency can be retained personally. In addition, a document shared on Twitter from the federal registrar has surfaced, indicating that Trump declassified specific material related to the FBI's Crossfire hurricane investigation during the final days of his presidency. An indictment of Trump by the Biden administration is likely to have huge ramifications for the 2024 election. It will bolster the fact that Joe Biden, his supposed political rival, is abusing his power to target him, most certainly resulting in Republican voters rallying behind him. However, it will also mean that Trump will be bogged down with trials after he may have already secured the Republican nomination, making it extremely difficult for him to campaign. And once again, just like with District Attorney Bragg's case in Manhattan, this case against Trump is dubious to say the least, especially in light of the fact that Joe Biden is found to have classified documents in his possession, or shall I say, stashed literally all over the damn place, from a time when he was never in a position to declassify anything. I'll finish up with this. Again, this situation has the potential to become the most significant instance of election interference in American history, especially if Joe Biden is never charged with the same crimes, which, if we're honest, no one legitimately believes he will. Well, hold on, I've got a last-minute update here. As of 3:45 in the afternoon, this courtesy of Breitbart, quote, President Trump denies reports that U.S. Department of Justice prosecutors informed him he is facing an indictment, stemming from Special Counsel Jack Smith's investigation into his handling of White House documents. The article continues. On Wednesday, Just the News' John Solomon reported that federal prosecutors notified Trump that, quote, he is a criminal target and likely to be indicted immediately in a probe into alleged classified documents, unquote. However, Trump told New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman that Solomon's report was, quote, not true. Quote, Trump tells me minutes ago he has not been told he's getting indicted when contacted. Quote, it's not true, he said. Adding again, he hasn't done anything wrong, Haberman tweeted. Well, just my 2 cents, but sources inside the swamp breaking this story without Trump knowing is certainly not unheard of. Translation, look forward to all hell breaking loose in the media sometime over the next 2 weeks with Trump's indictment. Some of this came by way of redstate.com. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everyone for all your donations. They're much needed and much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
Hi. Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.